Okay, we are live again. I had a little bit of a crackling issue, but I believe I've resolved it. Let's listen to my stream here. Alright, so it's time to get back to coding, right? So, let's do this. Let's make another layer. Okay. So we had, I'll just show you what we had. So if I go to Git here, yeah, I set up the project with Fennel+Love2d, used a template and just modified it a bit to my liking. Today we are going to do a little more of that setup, but also we are going to make this isometric tile thing kind of behave the way that I want it to, so that we can make an editor and all of this other stuff. So let's get started. Yeah. So in order to run it, I use the Emacs compile command, make run. You can see here is our current state of things. Now, I just added a second layer of tiles here. So we're going to do function draw the entire map, right? Yep. And all this is going to do is let's have this take a map as argument, just because. Now, for I, well, actually we'll do each IV I pairs map dot layers, right? For each layer, draw the layer I. Okay. Good enough. And this is unused, so we'll do that. Yeah. So let's see. Now our draw function, instead of draw layer 1, we're just going to change it to draw map. Simple enough. Invalid white space after quoting prefix on line 14. Right. This is Lisp, there are no commas. Okay, so this is the wrong drawing order. It looks very trippy, but that is not going to work, right? We have to iterate backwards. No matter. Well, we could iterate backwards, or we could invert the y coordinate, right? Meaning that the top layer of the map listed right now is actually the bottom layer drawn, right? So this here is the bottom layer, and this is the top layer. Well, why don't I just reverse that, right? And in order to do that, I have to invert the y coordinate offset of the particular index, right? So here, I do an ISO to screen of x index z, right? And just making sure I'm centered on the camera here. If we do this, can I do a unary negation? Does it care? Yeah, it doesn't like that. Okay, no matter. Okay, so it's negate it. Okay, good. Is this okay? Yeah, that's okay. There we go. So now we know how this is gonna work. So the first layer, well, interestingly, the index here, it's being fed in, should actually, see, it's going to start with -1, then it's going to offset by -2. If I do 1 minus the index, then it will start by offsetting 1 minus 1, 0, then 1 minus 2, -1, etc. So I actually do want to do -1 index so that it starts by offsetting 0 from the place that the map is scrolling. All right. Cool. So we can draw multiple layers just like that. Simple enough. Let's make this layer a little bit different. Let's just have it be one tile in the middle. I see. I was wrong about the map format, actually. So if I want the top layer to be first, I have to draw them in reverse order. So invert this variable and then do one of these for I from length of map.layers down to 1, step of -1, draw layer map I. There we go. So this tile, it's actually obstructing the one below it if I do it in the middle like that. So how about I put it in the back, like so. There we go. So now we have our glider with the little dot on the glider being the raised part of it. Cool. So we're going to stage this change. I'm going to call it our basic tile renderer. Good. So now I have to think, what do I want to do next? Well, the one thing I didn't like about this wrapper is that it's using an internal resolution sort of canvas. So we're going to get rid of that canvas actually. No canvas. And don't set the canvas at all. And then just draw. And now, if I just do this, you'll see it's drawing really tiny. So before I do the mode.draw, I'll also do scale by the scale, like so. Okay, getting there. And then the other thing is love dot. Now I have to look at the love API reference here. Okay. This might be a quicker one. Yeah, this is a really quick reference. This is what I like. Does it have a search though? Control F, I guess. We want to set the default filter. Loved graphics, set default filter. Okay. Nearest. That should do it. Didn't do it. This is because love.load is getting called before set mode. There we go. All right. Cool. So, this is looking fine. And now what's nice is I have the ability to move things despite the fact that they're pixel scaled. I don't necessarily like it when objects movement is stuck on the pixel grid. So by instead of like scaling up a base canvas, instead I'm just going to scale up the graphics with nearest scaling, they'll move much more smoothly. So that's very preferable for me. Now, let's, from here, after I commit this change, use basic scaling instead of base canvas. Okay. Let's start to do an editor. Okay, so we have our viewer here, right? This is a viewer slash scene.fnl. Okay, and I know this is a funny thing to do, but actually I'm gonna call this source viewer. Actually, wait. There's a way that it handles the source paths. So it will try to find the paths that I feed based on, the module name, replacing dot with slash, and then .fnl. Okay, so what I could do is update the search path, but I'm going to rename this to viewer, actually. So, what's the shortcut for Diard? Command XD. Okay. Diard here, rename to viewer.fnl. That's for the purposes of having viewer be called viewer when I'm editing it. Just a minor detail. Make sure it still runs. It's fine. Okay. Right. Okay, simple. Now, oops. Fix that commit. So, now we want to do an editor. So, let's go to the viewer, right? And we're going to do editor slash editor.fnl. Like so. And the wrapper, we will now have it do the editor, actually. Okay. And the viewer scene, I'm going to copy it over. Like so. Okay. And now, here's what I'm thinking. So, this is very in place type of way of defining things. This is not typical and not very useful, and it also prevents you from doing hoisting or references. So Lua, say I want to reference the key pressed function within the update function. Good luck doing it this way. It's not going to work that well, right? So I'm going to do this, start doing things in a little bit more of a Lua type way, more of an object-oriented way. And I'm going to go ahead and treat this a bit like a module. Now, I did want to know in Fennel, what is the difference between var, so we have var, identical to local apart from allowing set to work on it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, a var is a local that changes. Okay. So this is a var, right? And we're going to call it viewer, and it's an empty table. Okay, good. Now, instead of having map and tile graphics in here, we'll actually be doing this. Map, right? And now we actually want to instantiate the viewer, right? So we do viewer.new. Okay, it's a function, viewer.new. I think this will work, right? And instead of doing it this way, I'll actually do it this way. Map level name. This is much cleaner than this sort of stateful approach that I have here. So viewer.new gives you a table where the map and the tile graphics are in the table as these things. Okay. Level name. There we go. Right? And then at the very bare minimum, to have like a comprehensible API, you know, there's a few ways of doing this, but I'm gonna quick check here. Fennel+Lang OOP. Okay. Object orientation, please. Object-oriented programming. Is there such a thing? There's not. Okay. So we're gonna go Lua style on this object-oriented programming. So let's go to our macros, right? Let's go back to the root of the project here. Macros. Okay, here's our macros, right? I'm not gonna write this as a macro at first, actually. But there's a way that things are done best. So we will have this actually be set meta table of this whole thing. Odd that it's not like Power Infer should figure out what's going on here, right? Or not? Oh, it wants it indented here. Oh, okay. Or I can do this. Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So, yeah. So this is the state, right? And then we want to set the meta table to a table where this value index is viewer. Good. All right. I don't know where var viewer went, but there we go. This is the second argument to set meta table. Good? Yeah. Good. So this will give you an object whose fields are referenced. You know, it's kind of like a prototype in JavaScript, right? So it's a very basic type of inheritance, but it's not really inheritance, at least not yet, because the viewer is simply it's simply an object instantiation. So the JavaScript and Lua analogy is that object instantiation is a type of prototype, and this meta table here, the index method of the meta table being overridden means that it will first try to index the table normally when you index it, you know, using the dot operator or colon. And if it doesn't get a result, then it will fall back on the meta table and try to index the original viewer table, which now acts as a sort of prototype, right? And actually, because the viewer is acting as a prototype in this sense, I'm actually even going to rename it to capital V viewer. Okay. So let's try that again. There. Capital V viewer. Right? Because this is now a class. Right. And we will do viewer : draw map, which means it can now access a self variable. Right? So I want to make sure that the method call syntax. Okay, method. Right? Method calls, right? You have to make sure that this works how you expect. So you can call methods this way. You can call methods this way. And I may have to do this with an explicit self argument, but we will see. Yep. Okay, and the viewer now, right? So how about this? Just for the sake of cleanliness, yeah. I'm getting really far in without knowing the mechanics of Fennel. So I'm going to go ahead and say I should make sure this works how I expect it to. So within the wrapper, I'm just going to do some silly stuff, okay? Var test thing is a table, and then which contains an entry hello, which is equal to 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we do function test thing : say. Okay, simple enough, which will print self.hello. And then we're going to call it. See if this fails or not. Unexpected multi-symbol. So if I do it this way, though, okay, it works. All right. So it doesn't have the colon syntax for function declarations. That is really good to know. Right. So I want to do it like this. Viewer dot draw self, and then the function body. Okay, and update and key pressed like so. And put this in here. Oh, okay, good. Now, viewer is what we return. Just the viewer. Getting there. Getting there. Now we have to actually do self draw map. Self.map. That's funny. That's kind of funny. I mean, I could just do draw map, self.map. There's a lot of arbitrariness to it, but the moment that I want to expose these bindings, it would be better to expose them in an object where you can't call like uninitialized stuff, right? And I understand there's a more pure functional approach to all this as well, but I'm just going with what I'm familiar with, and it should work just fine once I get it all set up. So, yeah. Let's see how it fails. I'm curious how it fails. Unknown identifier in strict mode draw map. Can I look at this again? What is this? Line 4? Wait, what? Wait. Editor.fnl line 4. Oh, okay. There's a problem in the editor. Here we go. Right. Alright, so the editor should do this now. It should go. This is how I'm gonna architecture like everything now. Alright. Let's not do this for now, though. We'll do this really stupidly, and then we'll make it more elegant later when the expectations for the editor are clear. Because the editor may not need to be like an object necessarily. It all depends on how the editor is going to be used. We'll just do this for now. Local viewer require okay. Var viewer is a new viewer for test. All right. And functions. Yeah. Okay. Our editor. I suppose. I don't know. Okay, here's another thing I want to know before I keep messing with this. So if I have a local, which means it's immutable, right? So local x is 4, set x to 3, print x. This should give me an error. Expected var x, right? Because you can't do that, right? But what if I set x to a table where entry A is 4, and then I do tset x a to 3 and print x.a? Does that work? Editor line 1, expected name and value. Oh, okay, it's an error in the editor. So, alright. It's a bit of a nitpick, but here we have our var viewer. It can be a local viewer. It's fine, right? Yeah, it doesn't actually matter. So, now we're going to actually have this return the viewer. So the editor should just work, right? Let's see. Oh, editor. Expected name and value. Okay, right. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Line 9. Right. Okay, capitalize it. Unknown identifier in strict mode, tile GFX. Alright. Right. Okay. Tile GFX have to be fed in to the draw layer now. Yep, this is where putting things as an object starts to make a lot of sense. So viewer, draw layer, self index, right? So we would do self dot tile GFX and map be self dot map. The places where it's used here. I know there's a more efficient way. I'm just working through it a bit. And then the draw map takes no arguments except for self. Right. All right. viewer draw map self. All right. So we're not going to do low-level tests because that's not even a function anymore. And yeah, starting to get there. 24. Draw layer, right. Self, draw layer. 26. Oh, it's a function twice, okay. And draw map, again, self, draw map. Attempt to index a nil variable. Right, so I have to change how this calls the viewer. Right. Okay. That's fine. We'll do this. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just change the wrapper so that it's more OOP friendly here. So we do safely mode.draw. Instead of that, we'll do safely mode.draw mode. Wait. Yeah. There we go. Mode.draw mode. Doesn't take other arguments. So now the mode will call itself. It won't have much of an issue. And we'll see if we can call the viewer now. Attempt to index nil value. Where? Line 24. Self.map.layers. One minus one. Let's see which exact line is it on. 24. Okay. Self.map.layers is nil. So if I go to the map itself, there is indeed a layers field. So I'm going to want to do the Fennel.view here. This is very, very convenient. Global, it's deprecated, but do this in the wrapper. Wait. Oops. Yeah. So all the debug functions and debug variables I'll put in here. I will actually do this. Yeah. Just debug things. There we go. So, I don't really know what I was doing there, but all right. Still no viewers. Really? Well, how many? No, I have 2 viewers. Hey, if you're watching this, go ahead and speak up if you want to. Let me know what's on your mind. But yeah, I just got that debug pretty print set up. So we will do a pp on self here. PP on self, amazing. Unknown identifier in strict mode, Fennel. Really? 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 I remember seeing this done a different way, actually. Oh, we're back in the reference. Tutorial. PP. View. Fennel.view. Here we go. This is what I want. Because Fennel is not defined here. So I have to require Fennel and then map GPP to that. Okay, here we go. Module Fennel not found. Okay. What about this? This is gonna work. Okay. Good. Now it's gonna tell me what's in here. So, right. So the debug print tells me all that I need to know here. So we have self.map.layers. This needs to be a self:" draw layer because it references self again. And that's one issue. But self.map is not being referenced. Right. Again, another issue. Self:" draw map. Okay. And another nil value. Folks, this is why TypeScript is nice. This is why type Lua is nice. This is why I would even tolerate types in Fennel, to be honest. Hey, Winnie just followed me. Thanks, Winnie. Thanks for encouraging me to do this. You know, I don't know if it'll turn in anything, but I think it's interesting for people to watch me hack away at my software a little bit here. So here we have attempt to index a nil value here. Self.map. Well, yeah, of course, because I'm feeding it an argument that it already knows. Okay, cool. So this is really good. So, things we did here. Change I'm going to stage first is this. OP friendly mode. So the mode feeds the mode into itself so that we get our OOP. Okay. I like using a combination of OOP and FP opportunistically and in line with, you know, what is going to get the job done well. I'm not a purist, right? Not closed-minded. Just want to do it well. So let's see now. Yeah, I will have this debug print in here. Why not? Debug print. Okay. Now. Cool. This ISO2 screen is going to be very general purpose. Okay, so I'm going to put this in source lib. Yeah, we'll do source lib globals. Yeah, no, performance is not the... So the thing is, when you use globals and global variables in Lua, it has a hash table, right? That just contains all the globals. And if you add new global variables, then every single time you use a built-in like table dot blah blah blah, it has the potential to take longer to reference that. And additionally, it opens up a whole new class of errors with global namespace collisions and all this messiness. So it's very bad to use an excessive number of globals in Lua. And my convention is that I will create one or two things to put into the global namespace, usually util and debug, right? So that's why when I was in the wrapper here, right, I'm thinking like, okay, if I want to make a global debug printer, g.pp, I was thinking of actually doing like a g.debug.pp, right? And then actually making it so that the debug table doesn't exist, right, in production. So I would do like this, right? And then every instance of the debug print, I would have to replace with either a do nothing, or I would have to actually let them error out, and I would, add like an if debug then print type deal in there, right? Because sometimes you want to like divine information in your debug prints, and you could do it in expensive ways. So I wanted to put it within a table and use that table as a flag. So I would do like a local g.debug like this, right? And then over here, if I wanted to see the contents of this, I would go if .debug, or how about when g.debug g.debug.pp self, like that, right? But it's kind of annoying. It's kind of a lot of work. So I'm just going to keep it simple for now. But as I add like debugging features to this, if I start to like need them, that's kind of how we're going to do it. But that's just an aside. So what I wanted to do is make utility functions, because I'm going to need a lot of those utility functions. And sourcelib macros, right? This does feel very powerful. One thing I like to do, and I'm not really sure how to approach it here, is to use coordinate systems with operator overloaded coordinate types, so that I can do things like at this point to that point, right, in order to translate the points, because it's easier than doing, x plus x, y plus y, z plus z every time. So at some point, when I start to do these like coordinate operations, I'm going to want like utility. So like I would do utility util.fnl for now, right? ISO to screen. Then I can have lots of variables here. I can do local tile size. There's a lot of ways I can do this, right? Like, should I make them global? Should I make them an import? Because it's really easy to do local util require util. That's so easy to do in every file where I'm using the utilities, Anyway, I don't know. I'm okay with it being global. Actually, we'll do it globally. So, it is really funny that I do like local g.util. Like, it's global though, but it's using the word local. You would not do this in Lua. you would just do it without a local statement. G.util. Okay. Is util even a good name? It implies utility, right? We'll do it that way for now, but iso2screen x, y, z. Okay. Take this out of here. All right. And in the wrapper, we will just do creates global util.x. Oh, look, I require lib fennel right here. Oh, that's funny. So, anyway. I guess I'll put the debug right below here. Now. iso2screen. Yeah. Ah. Check it out. Util not found. Okay, no problem. Source lib util. Unexpected. Does it want these to be var? Is that it? No. Is it a set? How do I do it? Yeah, it's a set. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because it's a T set, because G is the global table, underscore G. And so I'm setting it. There we go. Because, yeah, setting a global with local feels loco, It's like, why would you do that? So, the other thing I'm going to put in util is class, right? The table becomes a class. All right. How do I do this generically? It's really simple, honestly. So this is just an example of it, right? But so what I would do is tset t.new function. No, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that, do I? Oh, maybe. And then it would call, yeah. Let's say that t.new. Okay, so we'll do this like viewer, local viewer is a class. All right. And then this code, how would I simplify this in an ideal world? Well, I would do double underscore new. Or how about constructor? All right. Yeah, people know what a constructor is, right? And the constructor will just return this table. No strings attached. Yep. So this tells me what I need to do. The class sets a function called new at will. Give you. All right, so take some whatever arguments. What? set meta table of constructor with the args. You have to call it to T. That's it. Okay, that's pretty simple. See if it works. I could take it even further. Because I could go T set meta table T to call I don't know. And then this same like function. Simple enough. Delete extra paren. Yeah. So sets the meta table, the meta method call to a function which sets the meta table of the output of the constructor to T and returns that value. So, all right. So I go here back to the editor, right? And instead of doing viewer.new test, I just do viewer test. Should work. Okay. Unexpected closing delimiter. Something looks funny here. What is it again? Expected white space before opening delimiter parenthesis on line 7. Oh, yeah, I wrote some procedural code, didn't I? Okay, here we go. Expected white space before opening delimiter. On line 9, I did it again. Wow, can't believe I did it twice. Set meta table. Right. Expected table key and value arguments. Oh. What? Expected table key and value arguments. Oh. Right, of course. This doesn't need to be a table. Attempt to call a nil value. Where? From where? Doesn't say. Line 9, attempt to call a nil value. Oh. Right. So you tell that class I would have to pass in viewer? No. We'll just do this. Let T is an empty table in all of this. Okay. Good. Wait, what? Attempt to call a attempt to index a nil value. T.constructor is nil. I mean, I could just have the constructor be passed into the class, I guess. Like so. Fill that class. It's shorter that way too, isn't it? Fill that class. Function. Level name. Okay. How best? This smart indentation is getting a little bit stupid for me. Because I have to move this all the way over here. Like, really? Oh. Oh. Really? Like I can't just... Alright. Still is, like, wrapping to 91. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Par infer, maybe a little overrated, to be honest. But local viewer is a class that takes a function. Okay, does it work? Does this work? It doesn't work. And I love Lua error because Lua's errors. Look, it doesn't specify which value is nil. It just says attempt to index a nil value. Like, do I need to do something extra here? I don't think this is gonna change it. This is some coding. What the heck? Attempt to index a nil value. We're gonna PP. We're gonna do PP on this maybe. But I don't like this. I think this is more elegant. Like, I don't see a reason why this should have to, like, bend over backwards, you know? Like, it should just be a util.class, right? Simple. So we make a table T, set this to this. Oh, it really doesn't like that. Expected name and value. Yeah, I would have to not do that. Wait, still? this file is saved, and yet, wait, what? Expected name and value. Oh yeah, tset. Okay. Unknown identifier. Okay, that's good. Attempt to index a nil value. It's being called in line 3 of viewer. This is such a funny hang up. Is it because it's trying to do it this way? Attempt to index nil value. No, it's the same. Those are equivalent. Wish I had chat to help me out. Point out what I'm doing wrong. So, I mean, does this work? Okay. Right. So class gets the table, right? We will let it feed in a table. Is there default arguments in Fennel? Default? I don't think there is, but there's optional. Here we go. There's the optional arguments. Well, you may allow a symbol to be optionally be nil by prefixing it with a question mark. Okay, and that's for switch cases. Oh yeah, I'm remembering now. It's in the lambdas. See, I haven't been using lambdas that much, but in lambdas, it creates a function like fn does, but throws an error at runtime if any of the listed arguments are nil, unless its identifier begins with question mark. So I feel like lambdas are really useful. Yeah, Winnie's saying need to do more metatable stuff. Yeah, Lua metatables, they are really nice. And earlier I was describing how I want to use the operator overloading capability of metatables to create game-friendly like point types. So t.new. Okay, right. So this is fine. But now we go attempt to index local viewer, which is a function value, right? So yeah, it's returning a function. We want to return t. Okay. Simple enough, right? Not there. Here. T. Yeah. Pass it through. And now it's a table value again. Yeah, so I will just do the dot new because I couldn't quite get it. Now what's it saying? Attempt to call field ePressed a nil value. Really? Did it not set the meta table properly? That's a question. So we will pp the viewer. I can type. And let's see. So yeah, it has these properties, but it hasn't. Oh. Wait a minute. All right. How do I do this? How about this? Local viewer, right? And then util.make class viewer. Like, I think I literally have to do this if I'm gonna like feed it through in this way. So the problem is that T doesn't get. Wait, I didn't set the index. That kind of matters. Does this fix it? Too many things shifting around. Okay, that fixed it. Alright. And I really thought that I could do this in a different way. Like... Whatever, it works. It works now. So... did this... The wrapper changes. Alright. This is a few things, but I'm early in development, so you know. Seems you can just omit the args, so it'll become nil. Hold on. Ah, I see. Right. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna abort this commit. Now that I think about it, I think the best thing would then be to go let t be if t, otherwise empty table, and feed it in there, right? And then I can give this an empty table. And yeah, and this can be used, yeah, more ergonomically. There you go. I think that's what you're talking about, Winnie. And it just makes things a little simpler for me. So, viewer is a class. Class has to have a constructor, all this. All right. OP-ified the viewer. and created empty editor, right? Okay. So now editor functions, right? So the viewer actually, should this even be called a viewer, right? Because the map data inside of the viewer, it's owned by the viewer now. So what we have now is not a viewer, but a map, right? So this is considered a map concretely as a game object. So we're going to rename it again, as we do. This time to source/map.fnl. It's a map loader, and it's going to be part of the map editor. I'm not even going to confirm, just replace all of it. Map. I don't like just the word map. It's confusing because maps can mean a lot of things. So we're going to call it tile map. No, not tile map. Level map. There. No one will be confused now. Oh, that's. There we go. Level maps. Good. And do the same thing here. Source/level map. And right. Okay, it works. All right. Renamed viewer to level map. Good. So, game ideas, right? So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is create a marble rolling type game. I was thinking about it last night. It would be fun to make a marble game. I think I'll make it so the marble can jump. It'll be controlled with a joystick, and on PC, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can just click where you want the marble to roll, or something like that. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. Yeah. So, let's get some editor features, though. Okay. And source editor. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to nitpick that for now. All right. So, editor is going to be a class. All right. And we'll have a constructor, which gives the level name. And it will simply set the map to a level map .new with the level name. Okay. And then we do draw, update, key pressed. All right, and I have to build a mouse wrapper too for the editor to be nice to use, right? The editor.draw. Now, let's do something unique here now. So the editor.draw map, right? Now we actually want the editor to have let's call it cursor pose. Okay, with an X, a Y, and a Z. Starts off at maybe 1, 1, 1. All right. Should we call it cursor pose? This is not just referring to the cursor, though. This is referring to the currently focused object in the editor, but the position of it. Let's start with something simple. All right, we'll just call it the current layer index, okay, and set it to 1. There we go. So now for editor draw map, we do self.map draw layer, like so. Okay. Right. Self.:draw map when it's supposed to draw. We'll do all of this. Now, self map draw layer I. And the special thing we're going to do here in this loop now is when the current layer is 1 less than the layer index, we will put a rectangle on the screen and tint it so that you can see, you know, what layer you're on. So yeah. Now, see, in my config.lua, we have window width and height here, and in the wrapper, it knows that as well. Doesn't it? Yeah, because the scale is 4. So it can deduce by dividing the mode by the scale what the size of it is, right? So when we do a mode draw or a mode update, which should also have mode fed into it, I suppose, we also want it to, let's say you can pull in what you want from this. So you want DT, pull it in. You want set mode, pull it in. And if you want the window size, right? So var screen size. Okay. When we load, we want to set screen size to, how do we do this? Love graphics get mode. All right. Let okay. Set XY to love graphics get mode. And then after we bind it, we want the screen size to be X is X over scale. Y is Y over scale. That'll work. Make this, yeah. set the screen size X and Y. And then we will feed that in here. Screen size. So you can just pull it in if you want it as the second argument. It's a nice way to feed variables into the to the scene classes here. So editor.draw self, and let's grab the screen size as well. Why don't we? And this will then take in screen size. Okay. Why? Because we want to do rectangle So first, let's go with a semi-transparent red. How about? Maybe like so. And then a rectangle. Right like so. 0, 0, screen size dot x, screen size dot y. And when do we do this? We do it when I is equal to self dot layer index. Probably you have to do it when the layer index is one less than the one that you're intending. But if you do it before drawing the map layer, actually, it's fine. So why do you indent this? I don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. Let's check it out. Expected even number variables in table literal. Really? I thought you could just declare it and it would do it. But you really have to do all that? Really? I thought when declaring a table, there's a way to like make it, you know, if a table key is a string with the same name as the local you want to bind to, you can use a shorthand of just colon for the key name followed by the local name. That's what I did. DT is a local, set mode, it's a local, and screen size. It's again a local. And so, oh yeah, this should have this too. OP, little OP. Stage, literally just. Oh. Alright, whatever. I'll just make the OP fix as part of this newer commit. Kind of annoying, but whatever. You have to get things done, you know, we can't be perfect here. So, expected even number of variables in the table literal, right? And there is indeed a var called screen size. If I do this, it won't complain there, it'll break later here. Set mode, screen size, screen size. Okay. 28. problem? Oh. Let xy so x is not there. But I bind x right here. But it wants me to do like a tuple binding, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. Oh. Oh. Huh? Now I'm just confused. Attempt to index local editor, a function value. Eh? Okay, well this is kind of like ambiguous, but what do you mean? What do you mean it's a function value? Run this again. What do you mean? And it's a problem on line 6? Really? Oh, in set mode. Huh? What was the git change I made there? Did I make an extra change that was unintended? Oh. No, I didn't. All I did was this. That shouldn't break it. That's not breaking it. But it's in set mode, right? Which I could do this way if I wanted to. But same error. I knew it would be the same error. I just wanted to see if this worked. So call stack goes from here as expected to here as expected to requiring editor, and when requiring editor on line 6 says attempt to index local editor a function value. Does it mean line 5? Because on line 5 I do index editor, which is a function value because I didn't call util.class. Okay, we're getting there. 27, love graphics get mode. It's window, isn't it? Window. Segfault. That's weird. Attempt to index field map a nil value. Right. So when I do it within the viewer, not the viewer, it's called the tile. No, it's called the level map. Right? Do it within the level map. It's a self.map. So it has to be self.map.map. And it says it's a nil value. Okay. Solve.map.map is a nil value. All right. Do this again. There is indeed no map field here. Right. Right. Of course there's not. I have to do this. This will work. No? Okay. Ah, invalid draw mode. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so this is a common issue. You want to do something, but your screen has been transformed. So what do? Well, you push a new context. Okay. Now what? Oh, somehow the rectangle got deleted. Wait, what? When did it get deleted? Okay. Do that again. That's annoying. Push. Reset. And pop. I think that works. Oh, haha. Yeah, I have to actually use the window size. That's funny. Alright. No matter. This is annoying. Why is this shorthand not work the way I expect it to? Like, this is really gonna error out if I do this? It does error out. So it's only in the deconstructor that a table can be like that. Yeah, I need to instantiate the class. Yep, that is what it is. So, screen size. I could do it this way, but why am I doing it this way precisely? This is a bad way to do it, isn't it? Isn't it? I just want to fill the whole screen. Perhaps there is another way. If I do this, it should just empty the screen at that point. Yeah, it just empties it. Does it? Wait. Oh, right. You have to reset the color after you do anything. This is a annoying part of statefulness. But yeah, it just clears the screen. And even if I like clear it with the alpha value, it doesn't care that there's an alpha value. So or maybe this is the solution. I should just tint everything. Well, no, because when the objects are drawing themselves, they're going to have a tint. So I don't want to do it that way. But yeah, we'll just do we'll have a X and Y scroll position, I guess, on the level map, right? Yeah, that's good. This should have a scroll position, and we'll do this. Scroll it 80, like so. Yep. And when we draw the layer itself, we could scroll the layer, each layer. But then if I want to intervene and draw more, I have to scroll that too. It's like I do want to, you know, do all that. The level map should not be a standalone, so I'm getting rid of the methods that make this a viable scene, actually. And for now we'll hack it, but there is a way to do this better. Definitely a better way. But yeah, this shows the current layer, right? So you can tell which layer you're going to be editing. That's what matters. Right? But all right, I'm gonna do a bit of an aside here. So in util, we are going to also do lib slash the point types. Yeah, the point types, which will be used like everywhere. So I'm gonna make them global as well. We're gonna have the point 2 and the point 3. Okay, so point 2. Blech. Okay, point 2. Yeah. Point is a class, but it also has this. Right, we're gonna, in the class thing, we're actually gonna do this. So we're setting the meta table of T to this, and we're also going to expose the meta table for easier access. So, not part of this function necessarily, but no, that's good. That's good. Yeah, no, wait. No. We want the meta table itself to be what it is. Right, okay. So we do set t set t. We can just do set t.mt index t. Here we go, and then set it here. t.mt. All right. So now we've exposed the meta tables. So then I can do point.mt.add, right? So the constructor is point.constructor takes x and y, gives you back just the same. Nothing fancy there. Actually, it needs to be like this, of course. There we go. Given an x and y gives you an x and y. Meta table add takes in point 1 and point 2, and then it will do x. It will do point.new, right? Lisp, okay. Point.new, where the x is p1.x, so plus p1.x, p1.y, no, p2.x, plus p1.y, p2.y. Okay, Now, let's do this in a sophisticated way, right? So we will do local MT values is a table where add is equal to partial, right? Partial turns a new function which works like its first argument but fills the first few arguments in place with the given ones. This is related to currying but different because calling it will call the underlying function instead of waiting until it has the correct number of args. Okay. So partial fn xy print plus xy 2 fills in the x with a 2. So it's not partial that I want, but I want to isolate the symbol for, we'll do this as an array. I want to isolate the add, right? So ideally I would just do like this. Like, is that actually going to work though? I don't think it'll work, right? So each empty values we would do. Does this work? Is Fennel this good? Can I do like, yeah, it'll work. So t set point set t set point.mt. I think this will work. If Fennel's good, it'll work. Make these little pairs in here. Each t set point.mt. Oh, I see why I did it. Why I wanted to do it this way. This is fine. This is fine. For each kv pairs, t set point.mt k to a function that takes p1 and p2 and does v operation v p1.x p2.x y p2.y. Okay. Right. I'm pretty curious if this works. Alright, back to our wrapper so I can test some random stuff here. We will do point two. We'll do this after the debug print, actually. Curious what it is in there and when it's constructed. And key is can we add them? Oh. Wow, strict mode. Okay. Yeah. It doesn't like line 3, as suspected. Okay. So what would it like? Like, would it prefer this? Is it gonna work there? Okay, we have to look at its hash function literal shorthand here. $1, not percent. Okay. Okay. Attempt to call point 2, right. Okay, point 2 dot new dot new. Okay. So yep, point 2 is all this. Constructor empty and new. That's normal. X is 1, Y is 2, okay. But then here's some funny business. To a function that does this. Yeah. How does that even return a value? That's awfully funny. Oh, I see. Right, but no, we have to do point.new with these. Now, 4 and 6. 1 and 3 is 4, 2 and 4 is 6. It added the values. Okay, cool. So, now we can we can do this way, I suppose. Point.map, right? With the function, we'll do point.new f of point::map. Point::map. Yeah. Self. Oh, I suppose this is why they like the self syntax. Because you can name self whatever you want, and it. But I'm just going to use self to avoid confusion. But you know. So. Right. Point.map. Point.map2. We'll have f be the first thing. No. So with this one, you would pass in the function and then the other point, I guess. So it would be like point.map2 a b. Okay, no. Self other f. Okay, self other f. F of self.x, other.x, self.y, other.y. Okay, point.map2. So this 2 actually a partial. No need for that. Point.map2 of 1, 2, b. All right, cool. This is probably slow. It's probably faster if I use macros for some of this, but you know, it is what it is. So, think about this now. Does it work? Okay, first we make sure it works. Okay, so put this all back. It still works. First try, it still works. Folks, this is why I like Lisps so much. Like, I'm inexperienced with them. Even still, I just find it easier to reason about things. Once you get used to it, it's easier to reason in a Lisp than it is in another language. It's just such a simple way of thinking about it. S expressions are such a simple and elegant way of thinking. And just being able to substitute any part of the S expression with something else. It's great. It's great. Be right back. Just get some water. So I'm genuinely unhappy with this whole .new thing. It's too verbose. So I have a lot of changes in Git, right? This is like a massive, unnecessary change, set of changes. Right? Like, just so much. I'll break it down a little bit, but I don't even know where to start. So I'll start by doing this. Improved wrapper, fixed wrapper OP, added screen size, var, prop. Okay. And util, I really should be able to set the call meta method in a way that makes sense, right? I could do this. Set it call to be function ... which gives you t.new t.new ... Does that work? That way I have both. Right? Is that gonna make me happy? It doesn't make me happy. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And get rid of t.new completely. So call the function takes in what? Nothing? No, takes in args. Whatever args gives you the correct thing. Right? So I know I have to go back and edit everything now, right? So I'm gonna do this the simple way. Oh man, okay. There we go. So here's all the instances of the word new. So level map dot new. So where's it gonna fail? So it's gonna fail on editor.new. But if I do this, now it says attempt to call local editor a table value. Okay. Getting somewhere. The meta table of t, right, needs to be set. Not the call meta method of the output. This is the problem. This is the problem. So, well, t's meta table is different. Yep. Okay, I see all this now. I get it. So t's metatable is here, right? T's metatable is being set there. And then the index meta method of the output table should be this. That's fine. That's all good. Then it should also t call it. Yep. So the call meta method of t will give you this. Yep, so it's nested. All right. Very nice. Very nice. So this is peak Lua right here. This is peak Lua. So what I'm doing is so t's metatable is set. T.empty is a metatable where index is t, and that metatable is applied to t, which is the output. So at the end of all this, I have to put t. Okay? That's your output. Right? But also, it should give you a function Wait a minute. I'm going to rename t to class because it's just easier to think about this. Class, right? Class. Now, this call is returns an object. So the class has a meta method of call, meaning you can call the class, and then that takes arguments, which sets the meta table of the output of t's constructor to the openly customizable meta table. 99% sure this will work. Let's see. Okay. We still have a t in here, don't we? Yeah, we do. Okay. Still have a t in here. It's a lot of t's. No wonder I used a one-letter thing. But it made it confusing. People are like, what's coming in here? It's a class, right? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So, in editor, I call hello editor. Yeah, in editor, I call levelmap.new. No need to call that. We just construct it directly. And then level map. What's the issue? Saying line 6 on attempt to concatenate local level name. I can just click on the error message down here. I should really do that. It's not getting the level name. Why? And this is from being called in line 6 of editor. Right? So the level map getting called with level name, and the arguments are not ending up in the constructor. So is this a problem with my constructor here? Let's see. Like if I do this, you know, like that, is it going to have the same issue? Yes, it does. Okay. Wait a minute. a table value. A table value. The editor constructor is being called with a table value. Because the first argument of the call meta method is the class itself. Here we go. There we go. Unused variable. And it works. It actually works. That's amazing. So now, point 2 here. We don't need to use the word new. Don't need to use the word new at all. Don't need to use it anywhere. Okay. Cool. So this little thing here in util took me a while to write, and I need to describe it now because, you know, you can see how I use it in the code, but I'm going to describe it. It's very, very useful. Very useful. So convert, this is coordinates to screen coordinates. This is create a table, which is a class. When called, the class, let's say x. When called as x, will construct an object O. Object Y. It will construct an object Y. By calling x.constructor ... And do a fill column. This could be a good time for some literate documentation, perhaps. Wow, 2 hours. 2 hours going strong here. Pretty cool. All right. All right. Cool. Yeah, and the ability to override the class meta table is extremely understated thing, because in Fennel, the implication is that now a given thing that's just a table, right, can have a specific function when placed as the head or car of your S expression. So it's a pretty big deal that I'm able to do that. Now let's look at what I've done and try to commit something usable here. Okay. So the level map okay. Got rid of scene function. Hold on. What? Huh? Oh, that actually committed it. Derp, 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 derp. Whatever. On level map. Added scroll. Got rid of level map. Scene functions. Added scroll. Okay. What else did I do? Oh yeah. So this has a mode.activate thing. See, here's the thing. When I first made a project in Love2d with Lisp, I used this sort of pattern because I just assumed that it's okay to manage your state in a sort of a singleton-like fashion, right? So each module, each file is its own state, right? Like this var here and screen size here in the wrapper, right? These are acting as like a singleton type state, and it's very easy to do this in Lua. The problem is that all of a sudden, like for example, you've created mode.activate, but where's the cleanup, right? You have to do a mode.deactivate somehow, somewhere. And so what happens is that you end up with all of this messy construction and deconstruction code because you haven't used the proper state management methods. So either you have to come up with some like functional type state management method where instead of requiring and using things like OOP singletons, which is really messy, you want to actually pass your state around. Now, to me, in my experience, passing around state is something that you end up you want to do it sometimes if you have a thing where you may want to substitute some state other than the canonical game state into it. So like say for example I'm writing collision code and an object is seeing if it can go to this location. I don't want to move the object, do a collision check, and then move it back. I want to say, will you collide if you go here? Right? So then that's a time when you want to pass it in. But in a lot of cases, you never want to pass in like a simulated input necessarily. And by passing things around this way, you end up actually making your code really fluffy and annoying to work with. And this ideal that a lot of programmers have, and this is an ideal that exists both in OOP and FP principles, is that you can have a model where you have like your one canonical state. Like this is like Redux, React. You have your one canonical state and everything is downstream from it. And cross-cutting concerns, right, are going to be like minimized somehow. That's the ideal, right? Well, in game development, everything interacts with everything. So you have to think in terms of like, how can I make the interactions obvious, pretty much? Like, how can I systematize my code? There is no principle that fixes game development. You need to use as much OP and FP goodness as you can in order to like get it to work. Get it to be readable, get it to be usable, get rid of ugliness, everything at your disposal. Because the code itself is inherently full of cross-cutting concerns and confusion. So anything you can do to manage state better is absolutely needed. So, anyway. We'll do this. Improved OP and made editor show active layer. Okay. So now, let's go to our wrapper. All right, and we want to deal with mouse down events somehow. Right? Mouse down, mouse pressed. There it is. Mouse pressed. We want to deal with these somehow. Okay. X, Y button. All right. So we get the X and Y. And we want to do when mode.mouse pressed. Let's do var args just for funsies. But when mode.mouse pressed, do mode.mouse pressed of scale, and the rest. All right. Okay, I'm gonna use their safely. Safe and pass in a thunk just for the heck of it. Because I love the way that this does error handling. I really don't want to mess with p-calls. Or sorry, with calling things outside of p-calls and all of the mess that causes. So yeah. Mouse pressed. Mouse can now be pressed. Is there like a scroll callback, perhaps? Scroll. Scroll lock keys. Okay, so mouse pressed, right? Let's go back to our editor. Now we want to do two things here, but we want to add in a layer navigation dialog to the editor. So let's do that. We'll make it say, I could really just make it, I don't know, just work with it. I can scale it arbitrarily now that I've like kind of done things this way. So, all right. No. How about this? We will do this like this. Okay. There we go. Like that. Okay. Whoa. There are smaller fonts, right? Yeah. Why is it colored? Hmm? What? Wait. What? Okay. Recolorize the brush. What does that do? I'm curious. F12. Remaps the brush so that it looks like it would in the spare page using the current palette. Okay. So if I go to the spare page and I make this red, and then I go to the brush effects, recolorize, that didn't do it. Is it this black? No. Can't be. What black is this? Whoa. It's this black. Really? Okay. Interesting. So this black we set to color legible. Okay. Layer. It didn't do it. Why didn't you do it? It does it here. Right? Like, I don't get it. Oh. Yeah. We'll do the old trick that I know of this. There you go. The old color swap. Alright. That's good. Layer. Go up or down. Simple enough. So layer .png. All right. Now the key bindings. Not really sure what key bindings I'm going to use yet, but YOLO. I think Q and A are fine for this for now. So we'll do those. Q, A. Good enough. Alright. Me. Alright. Key pressed. Self. Really? Just self? Not the key? So I want to use scan codes. I only use scan codes. Right? So we do key pressed. Love.key pressed. Feeds us the second argument is a scan code. Alright. There. I guess we'll have a bindings table. Index the binds with the scan code. We'll make it smarter later. Okay. Self.keybinds scan code, which we call with nothing. We just call it. No. We call it with self. Okay. Isn't there a colon operator? I think there is. I think there actually is. Okay. Editor keybinds. Table. Key. Q is going to increase layer index. So how best? I mean, I could do it really derpily like this. Where's the macros again? Okay. How did it require from macros? Where did I even use that? Was that in the level map? Yeah, I just import incf. I don't even use it. But incf is very good, very, very useful macro here. So incf. I'm just gonna call it ink and deck. I don't need the f. Ink deck. Oh, is it the colon space? Is there white space necessary in order for it to alias to a same name local? That's gotta be what it is. That has gotta be it. So in my wrapper, I do all this extra work, but I could just do this. I bet this solves it. And everywhere else where that's needed. Here. So it's kind of maybe a little more explicit. That just makes sense though, doesn't it? Anyway, so I grabbed incf here, right? So let's not do it stupidly. So it's a function, it takes self, it does incf. Now is incf going to actually do this right? Set value plus value or by 1. Oh no. Wait a minute. Is this gonna work? Because it's gonna expand it to something, and I don't know if it's gonna like magically do it quite right. About this. Incf self dot layer index, and it's just deck now. Ink and deck. Okay. Ink self dot layer index. Will this work? Well, let's see. Incf not found. Incf not found. In level map. I'm not even using it there. Okay. Now attempt. Am I reading this right? TGT? Attempt to index local TGT. A nil value. Right, okay. Right. When dot self dot key binds scan code. When then you do it. Self. Okay. Key binds. Is a nil. Why? Why is it a nil? I'm gonna do this way. I prefer this. You're gonna have some style. Dang it. Alright, is key pressed? Let me guess. Of course. Of course. Alright. Q. Q didn't apparently do anything. So let's make it do something. Okay. Okay. Q. Do anything, Q. No. So, what's the scan code? Okay, we have to look at the scan code. There's a big list of scan codes in here. Here you go, scan code. There is indeed a Q scan code. So, can we print it? It's a function. It's a function. And it's the same function every time. Because, yeah, alright. We'll, of course. Do this. Okay. E. Now what's the problem? Oh. All right. Oops. Gotta call it with itself, as I suspected. Okay. That'll do. So it can ink the layer index somewhat magically. It will do it. That is pretty neat. Very neat. Very cool. Very cool. U A dex it. Oh. Does Q not do anything now? Is there... What is this closing? No. No. What's the problem? What is the problem? Like, we can do a print the layer index. So both of them are incrementing it. There's an error in here. Hey, guys, your Fennel+Love2d Fennel, you got a problem here. This is not right. This is not right. Decrementing is supposed to subtract, not add. Guys, this is a bug. Okay, there's only one issue here. I'll add another. I'll open a bug. I'm getting a phone call. Okay, no worries. No worries. I'm gonna blank my screen just in case this login is revealing here. Seems the world is calling. Oh, okay. Yeah. Make sure I'm not showing anything. Yeah, you can't see nothing. All right. Okay. Title. Decif sample macro doesn't decrement. This is really stupid. Like, I could make a pull request. Should I just do a PR? Do a PR. I should fork this and do more with the fork eventually, but this is kind of funny to me. There you go. Very, very easy. Wait, this is like a copy of VS Code. What the heck? What is this web IDE? This is cool. It doesn't have Fennel mode, but I could... Oh. Has been disabled as we work towards a lovable experience. Okay. That's crazy. Here we go. Save it. How do I save? Control S. Oh, man. Okay. I understand this is not a command. Did it save it? It did save it. Very cool. Very cool. Macro. Okay. I mean, if I'm forking it, I can just put it on master. Pretty sure. I can always use a branch too, but... Alright. Go to my fork. Here you go. Boom. Wow. Wow. All right. I'm a contributor now. I am a contributor. I'm a good member of my community. This is an example for you to follow. Something's wrong in open source software. Just go and fix it. Alright, so now we can go between layer 1 and layer 2. And the keys actually should be mapped the other way. Like that. Like so. Cool. But, you know, the thing is, I can't even use these macros here because I'm getting annoying phone calls. They're not important, they're just annoying. Because we want to have it be bounded, right? So Q is a function of self that actually should set self dot layer index to clamp. Okay, there's another util to make here, clamp. Value lower upper, and this is gonna give us math.min of the upper bounds of the lower bound in V. Okay, clamp it. Clamp that 2, no higher, no lower than 1, no higher than the length of self.map.layers. There you go. And because that's so much code, I'm gonna actually do this. It should be below the constructor. It's getting confusing. Editor dot adjust layer. That's just fine. Here's your mount, and it will do this. Amount that. Good. Needs a self arg. There we go. Okay. Adjust layer should be actually because you're adjusting the layer index, you know. So we will call it set layer relative. Sure. And we'll also do this set layer not relative. Whoa. Okay. But oh, wow. So unnecessarily fancy. Does it work? It doesn't work. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. The minimum of the upper and the maximum of the lower in V. That is... Oh my gosh. My screen has been turned off. That is a major mistake. Folks, that is... I fumbled the ball. There. I fumbled the ball. We're going on almost 3 hours here. I think I'm going to pack it up before I finish all of this. But I am making a layer selector here. So, right. And the binds Q and A work. Good. and not do this for now. We will also do this. If the editor is required at all, it will load the image for the editor and keep it in RAM. Or it will load a copy of the editor images for every editor open. We'll do the latter. So, layer, select, image, love, graphics, new image. Source / editor / what? Layer select .png. Okay, good. Draw self.layer select image at 0, 0. Okay. And how about this? How about this? Do it extra clean here. All right. Draw map, draw UI. All right. Cool. Much more work to do here. Tomorrow I'll try to work a little more cleanly now that this project has a modicum of progress done on it. We're going to all that. So this is nitpick, and this is set wrapper to use OP and scan code. Okay. And add mouse functions to wrapper, which are untested, to be fair. I may have to fix them later, but is what it is. And added clamp to utils. There's going to need to be way more than that. Fixed increment and decrement macros. Okay. I could try to make, can I make those macros global? Because, I mean, that seems like a pretty good idea. I don't know. And what are the valid names in Fennel? They have to be a little more limited than other Lisps. Like, I don't think I could do like a ++ as a name. I don't think I could. I'm curious though. Let's check. I feel like I can't, but let's just check. Sample macros. And this is a macro name, to be fair. So, to be fair. Right, does that work? Oh, it doesn't like that. It does not like that. Oh, unknown identifier inc. Right, okay. Oh. Wait, I can actually just name the macro ++? No way. Can I use it? I think we can use it. We'll do Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do to test it. I guess we'll do this. See if it gets bluer over time. Does it? Oh, right. Okay, see if it gets... Tried to use conventional math. Oh, it's turning bluer over time. So you can literally... I could literally call the macro plus plus and minus minus. Like, why wouldn't I, right? Like, I don't know. And then I would even make them global. Like, can you do global macros? Global, strict global checking. Well, I mean, there's that, but macro. Oh, this is under tutorial. I want the reference. The tutorial doesn't even tell you about macros. They're scary. Global. Shot in the dark. Fennel global macros. Envim laurel. Sugar macros. Wow. This is for Neovim. What? Let's take a look. How does it work? Oh, look at... Oh. Whoa. So how are you supposed to use them? Okay, at the end it just exports all of them. Does it? Wait. There's plus plus up here. Oh, but it's only used later. Okay, but what about one of the macros it does export? Like map. Okay. Right. So how do you use it? You just import it at the top of your file? Okay. I don't know. You have to do import macros still. You have to name the ones you import? Okay, you do, yeah. This is what it is. I just think if the macros were global, it would make life much easier for a game developer, because it's like just getting new operators at zero like actual cost, you know, zero runtime cost macros, functions. It's very nice, you know, and with the freedom of Lisp, it's pretty much like being able to make a DSL to an extent. And, you know, that's great. Game developers love DSLs. So, you know. But it's another nit. Nitpicks. Add layer selection to editor. Woo! That'll ignore. And the point 2 I haven't tested yet, but yeah. Guys, I think with this result we have today, I'm going to call it quits. I've learned a lot about Love2d and Fennel today, so that hopefully I can become a smoother software developer and give you a more entertaining and less crapshooty experience. But, you know, I feel pretty proud of what I've achieved today. And so thank you for watching through my stream. See you next time. Bye-bye.